future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Gordon Van Rockman coached with the Falcons. He coached with the Vikings. And was there during that time. I think Coach Madden realizes love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football.
And he will take this in for an AFC touchdown. Marcus Allen in the final seconds of the first half. And they are able to add on to their advantage.
And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it, that can totally change the complexion of half number 2.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook. But even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. Brady, that's caught. And he is into the end zone. So they get 2 more on the board here just before halftime. So 2 successful 2-point tries now for them.
And you know what it does? It gives you a boost, a huge one for your team because, hey, you're dominating them now. They can't stop you either scoring touchdowns or 2-point conversions. But how about the defense? You don't know what to do at this stage. You can't stop them in any direction.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. A short kick taken at the 18. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape up past the 30. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. And with 7 seconds remaining, not much time to really do anything. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by the Raiders' own Trey Mosley. This one fielded at the 5. Now a crease here as he's past the 30. And they'll have very good starting field position as he's up just shy of the 40. Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Throwing now is Brady, escaping the pressure right. And this is caught. It's Brown. He's got room at the 30, and they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. That one good for 37 yards. On play action, now Brady on the move to his left. And this one almost intercepted. Had a chance to come down with it in the end zone, but could not hang on. To throw on 2nd and 10. Brady. He finds his man, complete. That's Gonzalez. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down. Now Brady again. Flush to his right. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. Tom Brady flashing the mobility, scrambling there for a first down. So now, Charles, and to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42. He had just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, and he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Marcus Allen with his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon, as his guys have opened up a very comfortable lead. Boy, a good, strong run there. Some serious perseverance, and it pays off in 6 points.
And, Brandon, you know when it gets deep into the red zone, it often becomes a question of who wants it. And we got our answer on that one, didn't we? The guy with the ball, he wanted it all. Brady will look to throw for it.
And he's got it. So the try for two successful. And that bumps their lead up even further. And around the goal line, especially on two-point tries, sometimes the QB's best friend is that big target, the tight end.
I love how you described it because you know he's going to have some length and some catch radius as well as a big body to keep people away from the football.
Taken from about the 12. And he returns this to the 22. The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. On first down, Favre. And oh, that nearly their first pick of the game, but it falls down to the ground, incomplete. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. To throw is Favre. This one caught by Kittle. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went out and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall, short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
Pass incomplete, but the flag in the backfield, and this might be a roughing call. Well, Charles, sometimes we talk about the lengths officials sometimes go to protect star quarterbacks, but that was tough to argue against.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everyone's going to say, hey, we're going to administer the penalty the same way for all quarterbacks. But when it's a star back there, even more so are they going to be diligent about throwing the flag.
As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you're talking about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when he used words like boom and pow. He helped create the old Madden team. He was a very popular commercial pitch man. And even the Madden Cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too. They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The NFC's decision to go for it does not pan out, and as a result, possession switches hands. The offense for the AFC set to go now. Been a very strong performance for them, really, on both sides of the football. The turnover on downs, the most recent example, and now, obviously, they're in a great spot here.
Yeah, if you're over on the bench right now, you're shaking hands with your teammate, you're hugging him, give him a little dap. Been a big, big performance for them. Now you just don't get careless. Take care of the ball on the way out.
And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. What I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
They'll run with Allen. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for. It's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's the video game that bears his name. Originally John Madden Football when it was first released back in the late 1980s, and now known the world over simply as Madden.
And Coach saw this originally as a way to teach the game of football. The early designs were for a 7-on-7 game, but he said no chance. He would not sign off on it. He wanted to be as realistic as possible. He told him, call me when it's 11-on-11, and he got his wish.
Yeah, after that debut, Madden the video game continued to pick up steam through the 90s in a big way. And John himself, many will remember, was a commentator for the series for many years. And now here we are in the 2020s, and this game has sold somewhere in the neighborhood of copies. This will be a gain of about 8 to the 27-yard line. So, CD, you look at the accumulation of John Madden's achievements in the world of football, the coaching success, the Super Bowl title, the incredible career as a broadcaster with 12 Emmy Awards, Madden the video game. It was very fitting back in 2006 that John Madden got the call to be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A more deserving person you will not find. He gave an incredible speech on that day, Brandon. So many of his former Raider players were in attendance. He talked about how he envisioned that when the last person turns off the lights in the hall every night, that the bus talk football amongst themselves. And what a discussion that might be.
Yeah, he finished his speech by saying, today feels like the second time in my life that I'm being carried off on the shoulders of others. Yet instead of off the field, it's into the Hall of Fame. This has been the sweetest ride of them all. And this is incomplete. Oh, he had 6 points right in his hands, but could not hang on. Brady's incompletion on first down leads to a 2nd and 10. That one looks like he'll throw here. It's complete to Brown, right side. And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. You think about John Madden in his retirement years post-broadcasting. He was about as active as most people are in their working years. I mean, he continued to play a key role on the NFL's competition committee. He was available to a wide range of people as a tutor, as a mentor. He continued to teach the game of football to all who would listen. And, Charles, as you and I know, he even continued to provide input, a lot of input on the Madden video game.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks that design and build this game certainly look forward to their yearly visits out to the Madden Comp.
And he will take this in for an AFC touchdown. Tom Brady, a 6-yard touchdown run, as his guys are able to push that lead out a bit further.
I'd have to say we're all a little bit surprised there because at his age, with his speed, or should I say lack thereof, the only rushing touchdowns I would expect are on quarterback sneaks, but here he found all of his guys covered, and he said, why not? And by the way, if that doesn't fire up your team to see the veteran like that risking his body for the touchdown, I don't know what will.
And there's been a Terry now to kick it away after the touchdown. From way up at the 23. And they'll be set up pretty nicely here as they have it up to the 35-yard line. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. Well, CD, it's all window dressing at this point. I mean, the best they can do is end the game with a nice drive to maybe build some momentum to move forward into their next contest.
Yeah, and with how lopsided this game has been, even one score might not do a lot of cosmetic good on the scoreboard, partner, because it's just about looking forward at this point. Get a touchdown here, give yourself some positive momentum and reps to focus on when you get back to practice in the next couple of days.
Oh, you saw that one coming. It's intercepted, thrown back across his body. Picked off by Stephon Gilmore. And he is going to score. It's a pick-6 and an AFC touchdown. That impressive performance just became a little bit more impressive here as they add yet another score to the ledger late in the fourth quarter.
And not much has stopped them at any point in this game. Partner, this is just an old-fashioned blowout right here. They probably could have put the brakes on themselves, but they elected not to and played this one all the way out.
Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
I know we could sit up here and dance around it a little bit, but going for 2 and This situation, somebody doesn't like someone else. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, what they couldn't see is you lean back in your chair and you went, I mean, yeah, it's not a good decision. They didn't get it, though.
Yeah, I don't think you can just say, well, my kicker's hurt in this spot. No, okay.
Yeah, they'll be set up pretty nicely here as they have it up to the 35-yard line. The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Exactly. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it. Meet up with this team again.
And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up third down.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Throwing is far. Well, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
That's coverage you'd expect to see in a tie game late. Not in a lopsided game like this. They are not letting up.
Wisnowski on to punt as he sends this one away. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble.
I know there's no magnet in the ball, but sometimes for the punt returner, after such a scramble, it sort of feels that way, doesn't it? He has it, he loses it. Somehow the ball finds its way back to him.
Atone for his sin, and you know he's taking a deep sigh of relief right now. The AFC offense set to take their next drive. They start the drive with a give to Allen. And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. Well, this has certainly been special. And, Charles, as we wind down toward the end of this John Madden legacy game, your final thoughts?
Well, let's face it, partner, it's going to be hard to overestimate the impact that he made, not just on the sport of football, but on his family, friends, players, co-workers, and in the lives of millions of Americans who watched him. There will never be another John Madden.
And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the... So it's a win here for the AFC on an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. Before we go, one final message.
Get staged. Become coach feeling a little rusty. Become coach head back to the how you supposed to walk with me? I'm 80 steps ahead of you. My mind matter of fact, let me see your hands. Look, I saw my shot and I took it. I couldn't do it different. Couldn't afford to stop and go. I had to stay consistent. Made up my mind that no matter what, I gotta win. That's why it's always me and never them. One shot.